Greetings, good family.
This is Lyndsay,
Resident Fairy Priestess at room 432A. I'm here with an offering, a lesson I hope will be fun, on right view. This teaching was written especially for my child, and my hope is that it will appeal to the inner child in all of us. But the content is geared directly at La Vida Loca, age 10. Right view. It's the first of 8 training points outlined by the Buddha in his very own version of the Hoodie Ninja Camp X training manual. He called it the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, together with right intention, comprise the wisdom section of the training series. What that means is that like the first training point, right view, and the second training point, right intention, are both ways that we use our minds, our thoughts, our intelligence, to navigate the path between where we are now and our end goal, our learning target of enlightenment. That's right. Ew. It's a little bit like school. Learning target. You know, like a goal that you set for your learning. If we take something simple, say, you want to be math fact king of the table by the time you get to 5th grade, then you make that your learning goal. And you take account, like, where are you now? And you realize that you're so-so. I mean, you're not awful, but you're not super speed bionic Brie. So, what do you need to do? What steps do you need to take? What's the trajectory or the plan to get from where you are now, Theo, a little snail with a big dream, to your end goal? Turbo on Nos, winner of the Indy 500 and defeater of Guy Gagne, math fact king of the table. And you know what that path involves, and it's more than a fake jot on a book you totally didn't read. It's practice, and more practice, and more practice, like practice in flashcards and on paper and in IXL and on an iPhone app, and practice in your head and practice on your head and practice for your head, because if you want to be math fact king of the table by the time you get to 5th grade, your path is practice. It's also believing in yourself and keeping growth mindset, and it's also, in this case, realizing that it's probably okay to be somewhere in between so-so and sovereign king. It's math facts. No big. Much like setting up a learning target in school, the Buddha and those who would follow in his footsteps set up a learning target for life. It's called enlightenment. And where we are now, which is a state of confusion, because when it comes to what are called existential questions, questions like, who am I? Really? Like, why did I come to this place? What is this place? Like, what is the nature of reality? The things that I see around me, are they really like I think they are? Are they even really happening, or are they more like a dream or a hologram? Are things solid, or are they particles that are moving? Waves? Did I choose to come here and play this life game? Why? I mean, do I have a destiny or some sort of purpose? And when it comes to answers to questions such as these, we don't know. So we're in a state of confusion. Enlightenment is the perfection of wisdom and also of compassion. Enlightenment is like a bird that flies on 2 wings. One wing is wisdom and the other is compassion. And on both wings, the bird flies. Enlightenment is not only the remedy to confusions and questions that we're left wondering, but it's also the perfection of skillful means, of mastery, like, you know, the Jedi dragon warrior thing. But enlightenment, it's more than that. Enlightenment is like so much more than that. It's like out of body. It's out of bounds and out of planet. It's like out of galaxy. Enlightenment, it's out of space and time completely. So it's a little bit more than we can put into words. It's a realization and an understanding. It's a realization and understanding that we get from practice. Because you know, if you want to realize enlightenment, you know what your path is. It's practice. And more practice and more practice. Practice on the cushion in meditation. Practice doing sadhanas, receiving empowerments and doing rituals and saying mantras and reading Dharma books and listening to Dharma talks and receiving teachings and cultivating our understanding and our awareness. It's practice. If you want to reach enlightenment, your path is practice. But it's also believing in yourself and keeping growth mindset. And it's also realizing that in this case, that's what it's all about. Enlightenment. Where the learning target is enlightenment, the Noble Eightfold Path outlines the points of practice, or the steps that we must take in order to reach our goal. Right view, together with right intention, are the first two training points that teach us how to use our minds, our thoughts, and our intelligence, our wisdom, in order to move from where we are now, in confusion, to our end goal, out of bounds enlightenment. Today we're going to be talking about just one of those training points, right view. And in order to do so, to begin to illustrate its meaning, I would like to tell you a story. The story that I would like to tell you today is called Yertle the Turtle. Yertle the Turtle. On the faraway island of Salamasand, Yertle the Turtle was king of the pond. A nice little pond. It was clean. It was neat. The water was warm. There was plenty to eat. And the turtles had everything turtles might need. They were all happy. Quite happy indeed. They were. Until Yertle, the king of them all, decided the kingdom he ruled was too small. I am ruler, said Yertle, of all that I see. But I don't see enough. That's the trouble with me. With this stone for a throne, I look down on my pond, but I cannot look down on the places beyond. I ought to be higher, he said with a frown. If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king! I'd be ruler of all I could see. So Yertle, can you see the pictures? So Yertle, the Turtle King, lifted his hand. And Yertle, the Turtle King, gave a command. He ordered 9 turtles to swim to his stone. And using these turtles, he built a new throne. He made each turtle stand on one another's back. And he piled them up high in a 9-turtle stack. And then Yertle climbed up and he sat down on the pile. What a wonderful view! He could see most a mile. All mine, Yertle cried. Oh, the things I now rule! I'm king of a cow. I'm king of a mule. I'm king of a house. And what's more, beyond that, I'm king of a blueberry bush and a cat. I'm Yertle the Turtle, Oh, marvelous me! For I am ruler of all that I see. And all through the morning he sat up there high, saying over and over, "A great king am I." Until long about noon, and he heard a faint sigh. "What's that?" snapped the king. And he looked down the stack, and he saw at the bottom a turtle named Mac. Just a part of his throne, like this plain little turtle. He looked up and he said, beg your pardon, King Yertle? I have pains in my back, and my shoulders and knees, and how long must me stand here? Your Majesty, please." "Silence!" the king of the turtles barked back. "I am king, and you are only a turtle named Mac. You stay in your place while I sit here and rule. Because I'm king of a cow, and I'm king of a mule, and king of a house, and a bush, and a cat. But that isn't all. I'll do better than that. My throne should be higher," his royal voice thundered. "So pile up more turtles. I need about 200. There he is barking. "Turtles! More turtles!" he bellowed and brayed. And the turtles way down in the pond were afraid. They trembled, they shook, but they came, they obeyed. From all over the pond they came swimming by dozens. Whole families of turtles with uncles and cousins, and all of them stepped on the head of poor Mac. One after another they climbed up the stack. Then Yertle the turtle was perched up so high he could see 40 miles from his throne in the sky. "I'm king of the birds. I'm king of the bees. I'm king of the butterflies. I'm king of the trees, king of the air. Ah, me, what a throne. What a wonderful chair. I'm Yertle the turtle. Oh, marvelous me. For I am ruler of all that I see." But then again, from below in the great heavy stack, came a groan from that plain little turtle named Mac. Your Majesty, please, I don't like to complain, but down below, we are feeling great pain. I know, up on top, you're seeing great sights. But down at the bottom, we too should have rights. Started from the bottom, now we here. We turtles can't stand it. We can't stand it. Our shells will all crack. Besides, we need food. We're like starving, said Mac. You hush up your mouth, howled the mighty King Yertle. You have no right to talk to the world's highest turtle. I rule from the clouds, over land, over sea. There's nothing, nothing that's higher than me. But while he was shouting, he saw with surprise that the moon of the evening was starting to rise up over his head in the darkening skies. What's that? Snorted Yertle. What is that thing that dares to be higher than Yertle the king? I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still. I'll build my throne higher. I can, and I will. I'll call some more turtles. I'll stack them to heaven. I'll need about 5,607. But as Yertle, the Turtle King, lifted his hand and started to order and give the command, that plain little turtle on the bottom, below in the stack, that plain little turtle, whose name was just Mac, decided he'd taken enough. And he had. And that plain little lad got a little bit mad. And that plain little Mac did a plain little thing. He burped. And his burp shook the throne of the king. And Yertle the turtle, the king of the trees, the king of the air and the birds and the bees, the king of a house and a cow and a mule. Well, that was the end of the Turtle King's rule. For Yertle, the king of Salamasand, fell high off his throne, plunk, in the pond. And today, the great Yertle, that marvelous he, is king of the mud. That is all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free as turtles, and perhaps all creatures should be. There's Mac. The end. The story of Yertle the turtle is understood to be about view, because the higher that Yertle stacked his chair, his throne, his seat, the more marvelous his view. The more that higher he went, the more he could see. The more he could see, the more that he knew. The more that he knew, the more he could master. And the more he could master, the more he could rule. Who wouldn't want to rule? Ruling's beast. It's also clear that Yertle had a goal. When the moon comes out, Yertle wanted to be higher than anyone, any place or anything. Yertle wanted mastery. But where did Yertle go wrong? Right. Yertle stacked up turtles. Besides being super wobbly, especially as you start to get out of the stratosphere and into space, the turtles were like his friends, the backs of his buddies, what should have been the companions on the path. The highest view vantage point is not just for one turtle, it's for all the turtles. Enlightenment is for everybody. Also, if you think about it, it doesn't really matter what you stack, if it was bricks or blocks or trees, houses, anything. It would be really wobbly as you started to get up, up, up out of the planet and up into the galaxy. And can you even imagine stacking and climbing and stacking and climbing all the way to infinity? It'd be a lot of effort, plus impossible. So it is possible, though, it is possible to arrive on that throne of the highest view vantage point. So if it's possible, what can we stack if we can't stack physical things? The answer is the fruits of our practice, the realizations and understandings that we come to in practicing the Dharma. Although we don't really stockpile and stack like that. I mean, that sort of mentality is actually a little bit anti what we're trying to do here in the Dharma, which is more about letting go and freeing our grip on things. But in some sense, right view is a lot like that. Right view is a lot like Yertle the Turtle King, only on a lotus throne, on top of a sun and moon disk, on the wings of wisdom and compassion, enacting awakened activity. Right view, it's something that grows along with us as we progress on the path. It's not like you do right view and then right intention and then right action and on through to number 8. It's a lot more like we work on all 8 of the noble training points simultaneously. And by doing that, our natural resting place, our throne, our seat, our vantage point ascends, becomes higher and higher and more refined, and we experience more clarity until eventually that resting place reaches the highest view vantage point of enlightenment. As it really works out, right view has a lot to do with energetics. It has a lot to do with how the planet works and how we manifest things. Right view has a lot to do with our purpose here and why we chose to play this earth game. But those are matters best left around 2 or around 3, like Little Bear Buddhism advanced or expert training. For today, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me today. Thanks for watching this video. I would really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Our next video is going to be about right intention, which is the second training point in the Noble Eightfold Path. Until then, guys, may you be happy, and may the fruits of our practice benefit beings far and wide. Lots of love, guys, from my heart, mind to yours, directly.